loveinyourhands.com, and I am coming to you from beautiful Sedona, Arizona. And I'm a palm reading consultant, compatibility expert, and heart harmonizer. And today I am going to be talking about the love languages in the hands and how to help you actually communicate with your partners better, your partner or partners better. So anyway, let's dive right in. First of all, what are the love languages? In case you haven't read this book, it's called The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts. It was written by Gary Chapman, and I consider this one of the best relationship books out there. So it's definitely worth reading and understanding the concept of the love languages. But essentially what it means is that they have to do with a way of communicating to your partner in a way that can be received. So, for example, if you love your partner and you want to express that love, there are ways that you can express that love so that your partner can appreciate it and bring it in and feel valued. So ultimately, it's about feeling valued in your relationship. And the neat thing is that your hands can actually help you with this, and it can identify which is your love language. It's amazing what your hands do, because your hands just reflect all different aspects of yourself. So let's go over the 5 love languages so that you can understand what we're looking at. So number 1 is words of affirmation. And this has to do with actually, just those nice little things that you say. Oh, you look beautiful today. Oh, I love the way you did your hair. I love the way that you smile. You have a beautiful smile. These are all words of affirmation. And some people they relish that, and they need to hear that every day. Number 2 is physical touch. That one's really easy. Hugging, kissing, brushing up against somebody, caressing them. Physical touch is very important to some people. We've also got receiving gifts. So here we are in December. This is definitely the time that we want to think about receiving gifts. But some people need it all the time. So, some people like to get flowers, for example, or, it can even be just a little thing, like maybe a chocolate, or, there's something that they can appreciate. Just a little thing can make a big difference. We've also got acts of service. Okay, so this is things like doing the laundry, doing the dishes, doing the vacuuming, all those little chores that have to be done every day that we really don't want to do. Some people really value acts of service. And then the last one, number 5, is quality time. So this is all about taking the little vacation, setting time to maybe meditate together, or go for a hike, or go skiing, or go biking. All of these things are terrific. So, and for those of you just tuning in, this is Cynthia Clark, palm reading consultant, compatibility expert, and heart harmonizer. And I'm over at loveinyourhands.com, and I love to help you find your soulmate match. So moving on to how does this actually show up? How do we read this in the hands? So we've got words of affirmation, which is going to be located in the little finger. We call this the Mercury finger. And the Mercury finger, when it's long, this is what we want to check for. Is the finger actually long? And you can tell if it's long, how it rests up next to the finger next to it. So Apollo, we want to check that. And you can see in this picture, we've got a long Mercury finger because it's coming up over that upper phalange of Apollo. So that's one way to read the if words of affirmation is something that's important to you. So my husband has this one, by the way, and he loves to say, I love you. He loves it when I tell him I love you. And what I do with him is I like to give him little cards and little notes and things like that. And it's so sweet. So that's something that we do together. And I know that's his primary love language. So it's super important that he gets that every day, those little words of affirmation. Okay, so the next one we want to look at is that physical touch. And yes, your hands do tell you if physical touch is important to you. And it's also located in the Mercury finger, but it's located in the lower phalange of the Mercury finger. So you can see in this picture, we've got a big phalange on right here next to the palm. You can see how it kind of juts out, it kind of bulges out. That is what we're looking for to identify if physical touch is your primary love language. Okay, so in fact, you can kind of see all the lower phalanges here. The lower phalanges represent the physical realm in the fingers. And so when the lower phalanges are big, that's a very sensual type person. And touching and that like sensual stuff is really important. This person probably also likes bubble baths and little indulgences is going to be important for this person. So that's what you look for there. Okay, so moving on to receiving gifts. We want to look for a large luna mount. Okay, now luna is our area of receiving in the hands. It also relates to our sacral chakra. It also relates to our intuition. It's the deep subconscious of the hand. And it is located down here in this lower section. And you want to look for a large mount. Okay, now sometimes if you haven't looked at a lot of hands, you may not realize what a large luna mount actually looks like. You want to see kind of some puffiness here. You want it to be kind of bulgy. And you can tell sometimes on if it's weak, it's going to be droopy, or it's actually going to have a little like bite or chunk taken out of it. That's what it's going to look like. Like if you look over here, like on this side of the hand, you can see that little bite sort of taken out. That shows a weakness in a mount. So you can tell the quality of the mount based upon that. Okay, so that's another thing to check for. Okay, so moving on to acts of service. We want to check for whorl fingerprints. Okay, now fingerprints actually form on your hands 5 months before birth. They never change. By the way, you may not have a single whorl in your hands. I happen to be one of those people. I have tented arches and I have loops in my fingerprints. But there are people who have what's called a whorl fingerprint, which looks like a little bullseye, right? It's circular pattern, which is why it's called a whorl. And if you happen to have 4 or more of these in your fingerprints, that's an indication that you're a service person. And so you're going to value service. And you're probably also going to be one of those people who gives service or likes to give service. So that would be your love language if you have a bunch of those in your fingerprints. And the last one, quality time, is actually not specific in the hands, but you can still identify if this happens to be your love language. Okay, and the way you do it is by process of elimination. So if you go through all those first 4 and you don't happen to have any of those features, which, by the way, that would be me. So if I'm looking at my own hands, I don't have a long Mercury finger. I don't have a big lower phalange of Mercury. I don't have a particularly huge luna mount. Well, okay. And I don't have whorl fingerprints either. That means quality time is going to be my love language. And sure enough, that is something I definitely value and understand about myself. So anyway, if you are, I hope you found this valuable today. So thanks for tuning in. And also, if you're interested in finding your soulmate, That's actually something that I specialize in. And I do that by helping people to heal from their emotional past. And I have ways to help you with that. And all emotions are important, and it's important to recognize them and process them. I also help people identify deep compatibility, and that's also can be read through the hands. Also, I can help you attract your soulmate. So I do that in ways that utilize ways of like ideas from quantum physics. So we look at law of attraction and different ways to magnetize to your soulmate. And I'm also offering a free membership to my Soulmate Connection membership. I'm offering a really great deal right now where you get a whole month for free and a bunch of other little gifts too. So just go to loveinyourhands.com and you can get started for free. So it is my goal in this world to help everyone who is seeking a soulmate match and a deep compatibility that they find it, and so they can be as happy as I am with my partner. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I will be doing these live streams every Wednesday is my plan, and at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm in Arizona, so we're always on the same time zone. It's always Mountain Standard Time, which I think is kind of fun. I love Arizona. I love not having to change my clock. So thank you so much, and I really look forward to connecting with you. And if you have questions for me, please feel free to post them in the chat, and I will put them into a future live stream. So have a wonderful day and take care.